You are listening to the Jag Bros podcast, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are headed overseas to London this week. We have our first of two games there. It's going to be Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time in London, going up against Caleb Williams in the Chicago Bears. We are the Jag Bros, three diehard Jacksonville Jaguars fans, three brothers. I'm Jack along with JT and Joey. And can the Jaguars begin a win streak? That's been a streaky team. But Joey, get us right into this game. What do we need to look for the Jags offense to have success against this really good Bears defense?
Yeah, this is a really good Bears defensive line. So this offensive line is going to have to keep stepping it up. They've played really well these last two times, so we're going to have to see it again, and this is going to be their biggest test. So we got to keep that run game going to keep this, it seems like, pass game to really be on key is with that run game starting it off. We need to see that. This defense also has a very good corner in Jalen Jones. He's played very well this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if he sits on BTJ the entire time, or will they have him rotating around? Maybe it seems like Evan Ingram may finally be back for this game, and it could be the best time for him to get a standout. They haven't seen him play a lot this season, so it could be a great thing for this offense to get Evan Ingram back for this game.
All right. This is going to be a very interesting game. Last week, we saw the Jaguars really rely on the pass game with Trevor Lawrence passing for over 350 yards and multiple touchdowns. They do have the Jalen Bros back in the secondary, Jalen Jones and Jalen Johnson shutting down wide receivers. Actually, if you look at it, the Chicago's Bears defense is the number one defense for quarterbacks against fantasy, meaning quarterbacks are the worst against the Chicago Bears defensively so far. Running backs have had some success. The Bears are actually bottom 10 in that. Tight ends and wide receivers, again, any of the passing stats, the Bears are elite. Top 3, top 5 in most defensive categories, and mid to slightly below average in running the ball as far as defense is concerned. So this is going to be a game where we will likely be relying on Tank and ETN to step up for us. And that's something that will be interesting to see how it plays out.
This will be a great game to see. Can our offensive line put it together 3 games in a row? Have we truly turned a corner where this offensive line is starting to play together as a unit? Doug has said, hey, he was saying his victory lap on Sunday saying, I told you guys they just need to play together. And you know what, Doug? Maybe you're right. And if they go out against Montez Sweat, a very good edge rusher, and some of these other guys that the Bears have on their D-line, and put up another game where they're only giving up 1 sack and a few quarterback hurries, then we can for sure say, hey, this offensive line is no longer our Achilles heel.
There's a lot of Jaguar fans that I think are overhyped at this point about the Colts. The Colts are awful. The Colts defense, especially, it was led by Gus Bradley, who we all remember how terrible those defenses were in Jacksonville during this time. And they've only gotten worse, and they're banged up, and they're bottom 3 in just about every category besides us. So this is not going to be the same test. Jack, you're spot on. The Bears the Bears pass rush defense is extremely good. They're right now one of the 10 in sacks and in pressures for that. So this is going to be a key challenge for our offensive line to see how they can hold up.
I want to put out there that I believe in them. They went really well against Houston, and they have Hunter and Will Anderson Jr., and they really shut them down. So I really hope that they can show out again and let them know that we are here to win 2 times in London and get back 3 and 4.
Come on. Yeah, we need to do what we did last year. All Jags fans will remember that was kind of the turning point. Now, we were not in as big of a hole, but those 2 games against the Bills and the Falcons were right in the middle of our 5-game win streak. So maybe we can do that again and go get a 4-game win streak and go into Sunday Night Football at Philadelphia 4-4. Joey, that's a great point against the Texans defense, the O-line holding up well too. And some of the Bears defensive stats are inflated because they've played some weaker quarterback play so far. They played actually pretty much the entire AFC South. This will be their fourth game against the AFC South. They played the Titans, Will Levis. They played CJ Stroud, who had a pretty decent game against them. Pretty much always does. And then Colts with AR. And then they just came off a really, really big win against the Panthers, who 36-10. And so
before you just discount that, I mean, the Panthers were also feeling themselves coming into that game. They put up 30 plus against the Raiders and then had a high scoring game against the Bengals as well. So the Bears are certainly themselves coming into this game. And so don't just say, oh, that was like not that good. Because at the end of the day, the Jaguars offense and the Panthers offense under Andy Dalton are not that dissimilar.
Well, we'll see. This is the biggest game of the season in many ways because only one team has ever come back in NFL history from an 0-4 start and made the playoffs. And the only way you do that is stringing really long win streaks together and winning games that you need to win. And this is a game right now where the Bears are 2 points favorites, and a lot of people are saying it can go either way. I agree, JT. Bears fans are feeling themselves. Our cousin Christian is a big Bears fan, our Uncle Dave as well. And I've just been reading a lot on Twitter that Bears feel great that this could be a blowout game. And it could be because the Jags defense and secondary has not played well at all. So what do you expect for this matchup? Jags defense against Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, and the Bears' pretty stacked offense.
It's going to come down to pass rush. You're going to have to make the rookie quarterback uncomfortable. He's somebody who wants to extend plays. He's constantly keeping his eyes downfield. There are some guys who are athletic like Caleb Williams that will look to run if it's first or second read are not open. Caleb Williams would prefer to hold on the ball slightly longer and wait for somebody to get open. We've seen breakdowns in our secondary, especially on big plays. So you have to find a way to limit that. But ultimately, it starts with the pass rush against them. So it's going to be a game. Joey, you said last episode you're a believer in Josh Hines-Allen. You're a believer in Armstead. You're a believer in some of these people. We need to see that type of pass rush in this game if we want to have a chance.
Oh, I only believe in Armstead if he's playing D tackle. And you're absolutely right. You got to make this young quarterback uncomfortable and give him things that he hasn't seen yet. Don't make this defense very easy and to be able to be picked apart, because he can sit back there if you give him enough time to find the right route and to tear you apart. He's done it in college. He can do it, but you have to be able to get him on the move, thinking and disguising coverages. He has to be uncomfortable for this game for us to win it.
For the love of God, get off the field. I mean, Jacksonville's bottom three right now on in most categories, including the number of play runs against. We've given up the most amount of passing yards. Watching that game on Sunday, it felt like every other stat that they were showing for Jacksonville was either first or last, whichever one made the particular stat was awful. And so the most amount of in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, the most amount of passing yards we've given up, the most amount, all these things. Jacksonville's just got to be just be bad on pass defense and not just be horrendous. Because on rush defense is actually pretty decent. They're right around 9th or 10th in most rushing statistics. So we should be able to hold DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, and Khalil Herbert. They have a kind of a three-headed monster right now at running back, where Swift gets the majority of those carries. I'm not terribly concerned about him. So just don't let Caleb Williams throw for 303. And I think you're going to be in a position to potentially win this game defensively.
Well, and that's the hard part. The weakness of Caleb Williams' game, we saw it at USC, we've seen it through the first couple games, is he will make big mistakes. He will throw interceptions. He will have fumbles. And this Jaguars defense, even though, which is just bizarre to me, the defense coordinator, Ryan Nielsen, head coach, Doug Peterson, keep saying, we're playing a really aggressive style of defense, and yet we only have one turnover so far. And so, yes, you got to get after him, but you've got to find a way to make big plays on defense, because you're going to have opportunities, and you've got to have them turn over the ball. You can't lose a turnover battle yet again, as we've done in all 5 games so far this season.
Yeah, this is the time to play aggressive and try to jump routes and stop playing so far off. It's time to actually play some man, and I just want the chance for turnovers and being playing aggressive.
Agreed. And you're going to have your hands full because the Bears receiving core is nasty. They got DJ Moore, they got Roman Dunze, Keenan Allen back from an injury, and then Cole Kmet has quietly had another very good season for them at tight end. And yep, that's right. The Jaguars have struggled to cover tight ends. Even Mo Alley Cox, whoever that is for the Colts, was torching us left and right in the fourth quarter. And so the safeties have got to play infinitely better. And then specifically, Ronald Darby has got to take a step up, or Nielsen has got to say, hey, it's time for Jarian Jones to play the second corner, or DeAndre Prince to come off the bench and play corner. Because again, I say this in every preview episode, but if I'm the Bears, this is super easy. You've got great receivers. Just target whoever number 25 Ronald Darby is covering because he's going to be open.
All right, keys to the game. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. What is the key to victory for the Jaguars offensively?
I'm going to say for the offensive keys, it's going to be able to get the run game going somewhat. I understand this defense line is very good, but you have to be able to not be one-dimensional against this defense. You have to still break out the run and run it effectively. So Cleveland, Mitch Morris, all those inside guys need to have a very good game. And also the tackles need to be able to allow Trevor some time. So it's really going to come in the trenches of this offense to allow the big plays to open up.
This has been a struggle for the Jaguars for a while now, and I'm going to go ahead and say start fast. 3 out of the 5 games that the Jaguars have played, they've scored 0 points in the first quarter. That can't happen. You have to score at least a touchdown, ideally like 10 points in the first quarter, especially if you get the ball first. The Jaguars have an awesome presence. Shout out to all of our UK listeners on the Jag Bros. We have a great presence in the UK, and we need to ride that wave and get fans excited in this game. And so offense has got to start fast, and I want to see us have an early lead in this game.
Man, I love both of your guys. I was originally thinking 150 rushing yards would make sense right along with what you were saying, Joey. Jack, I love that. Put the game pressure. Even if you can't get a lot of pass rush pressure on Caleb Williams, let's put game pressure and go up 10-0 and see how he responds. For me, one of the other stats, Chicago Bears are top 5 in red zone defense. That's somewhere historically Jacksonville has really struggled. We've hit some big plays, the Tank Bigsby run and the BTJ touchdown for 85 yards last week, where we kind of disguised some of our red zone inefficiencies. It's been a problem all season for us, and you're playing against one of the best defenses in the red zone all season, and certainly better than anybody we've seen thus far. So for me, I would like to see us have above a 80% touchdown rate in the red zone in order for us to be successful. That means we are punching the ball in, or we're getting the ball to BTJ or Gabe Davis potentially in the end zone.
That would be his first touchdown. Yeah, throw it to him, but just make sure you actually catch the ball, Gabe Davis. Just saying, hey, it's time to earn what that contract you got this offseason. And third down conversion has been where the Jaguars have been the bottom of the league. You've got to sustain long drives. But then looking defensively, I'm just going to drill down on what I said the last episode too, which was you've got to cause turnovers. And the Jags barely succeeded. I said you got to get 1 in the first half, and they did it right before the half. Well, I'm going to say the Jags defense needs 2 specifically on Caleb Williams. There is a lot of pressure that you just don't realize for a rookie quarterback that's never traveled overseas. You have jet lag. You have all these different factors that, fortunately for the Jags, we're used to it. A lot of these guys have played in London now 3, 4, 5 times in a row. And so I think if you can get in his head early, if you can cause some turnovers, if you can jump out early, if you cause 1 or 2 picks, 1 or 2 fumbles from Caleb Williams, I finally actually like our defense in this game.
Well, we've that we can't slow anybody down in the red zone or on third down conversions. We've proven that we can't do a lot of things well. So you're right, Jack. I like that one. Again, I'm going to go there too. I think you need to have 2 turnovers this game. 1, I don't think we'll get it done. If you get 2 turnovers, I think Jacksonville wins way more often than they don't.
So my defensive key is Josh Hines Allen showing up and showing that he is the guy that we paid, putting pressure on Caleb Williams, getting him sacked, scared to look down the field because he's going to have to constantly have his eyes down before he's about to get blindsided by Josh Allen. So hopefully we can get that pass rush, put Caleb Williams in some tough situations on scrambles and everything, kind of just lobbing it up, not knowing what to do. So I would love to see our pass rush be that key to victory.
All right, key to victory. It comes down to this. So score prediction time. Jaguars versus the Bears. Rookie quarterback in London, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Jaguars are on a 2-game win streak in London. Jaguars are on a 1-game win streak with a victory over the Colts. What happens? 2-point underdogs in London. Joey, what do you got us doing?
I got us carrying on the streak with another W. I think that we're going to start putting it together as a team. I think this is the spark that this team needed to get over the hump and to start playing well. The defense will step up, and I think we could win 24-10.
Oh, man.
That's a lot of belief in our defense.
I think they've done it for so many 3 quarters. I'm ready for them to show us that they can play all 4 quarters.
All right. Well, I love the Jaguars in this game too. Not quite our defense as much, but I do think our defense will make some big plays. I think we will get in Caleb Williams' head. I just think it's an underrated thing how hard it is to travel overseas. Your whole rhythm is thrown off. Your time is thrown off. All of these things, you're playing in a brand new stadium, a brand new country. And so I think we get after Caleb early, and I think this offense is going to capitalize on momentum. I think you're going to see us jump up early. And in this time, instead of like the Colts, I think we stay up pretty big. And I like the Jaguars to win this 28-17. And yes, start a win streak for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Man, both you guys are predicting double-digit Jaguars.
Double digits, yes.
Wins. What
Yes.
are you guys on? I mean, this is not a good team. The Jaguars are not good. In fact, the Bears are better at most position groups than the Jaguars. You go down the roster, there's very few things where Jacksonville has a defined edge. Maybe you could say quarterback, but we've seen Trevor play worse than Caleb Williams for the majority of the games thus far this year. So that's a lot of faith in London. I'm going the other way. Look, the Bears don't have a great offensive scheme. They got their offensive coordinator from the Seahawks. The Seahawks underperformed what their offensive expectations were last year, and this year they look significantly better. So I'm not a believer in the Bears offense. I think this is a close game. I think this is a lower scoring game than what I think either one of the fans would want. I'm going to go Jags 18, Bears 20. With the Bears winning 20-18 over the Jaguars. The Jaguars aren't good. I don't just because we beat a horrible Colts team at home, a game we could have lost every single way. I'm just not ready to go put Trevor in our clutch category and say he's just going to come out and win. But I do think he's going to have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter next week, and I just don't believe he will.
Man, how do you even score 18 points? That's a tough one. I wonder if that's what's it called? Scoregami, where it's a unique score. It's probably happened before, but it couldn't have been too many 20-18s. Well, JT, you're playing right with the spread. The spread right now is 2 points. And we're going to see right now, Joey is 1-4 on predictions, always predicting a Jaguars victory, true to form. And JT and I, we are 2-3. So I could have the chance to go to 3-3 and take the lead, or JT will have the chance to go to 3-3 and take the lead.
Let's go. This is why we play these games. It'll be interesting. Look, I'm cheering for the Jags. I'm not
always.
Well, not always. Maybe in 2 games I might be rooting against fire the coach and get a worse draft pick or a better draft pick. But the path is still there. I just don't think this team's very good.
Yeah, that's the question. Has this team turned any sort of corner, or is this just, hey, we had a lot of career games against Indy and who was very beat up, and we got fortunate to win at home? We're definitely going to find out in London. And we always say this too. One of our favorite things to do is just drop the tweet, drop on Facebook our score predictions, and we want to hear from you. Do you think the Jags turn it around and win? Do you think we get blown out, or do you think we lose a close one? It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully a fun game.
All right. Well, We will. We'll be cheering on there, just like you guys. So we'll break down the game next week and give us a sneak peek too for the New England game, where they'll be playing a rookie quarterback as well against us now that Drake May has been announced the starter. It'll be fun. But guys, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasting content. Leave us a 5-star review or some or some advice on what you guys would like to see moving forward. It's been really fun doing this podcast with you boys a little over a year now. And we'll sign us off here. Well, I'm sure we'll be hearing this a few times in London.
A lot of times.
Ball.